Number 7, the U.S. healthcare system finally gets a proper diagnosis. And you know why? It's because of the campaign. So I think that healthcare will become the other issue with Iraq, and the fact of campaigning will lead to lots of news stories and articles and analyses which should have been done 10 years ago, but which will be done now. And just as a list of what they'll find that's wrong, doctors report to HMOs, not patients. HMOs report to shareholders, not patients. Insurance companies dictate costs, but often are primarily in the investment business, and they don't share their profits back with patients. And they also report to shareholders, not patients. Government programs are rife with fraud by doctors and institutions, like Medicare. Defensive medicine is practiced at huge cost, much greater than the actual cost of the lawsuits. And this is something that I think gets glossed a lot. You hear doctors saying it's the malpractice insurance. Well, that's bullshit. If you check out the real numbers, that's not true. The amount of money that goes into malpractice wards is small. It's not big enough to explain why you pay more than anybody else on earth for trivial things. However, I think there's another part of this, which is then how do doctors behave? And that's very expensive. They'll order 5 extra MRIs for you, partly to get a fee, which they get a cut of every time there's an MRI, but also because you can't take them to court. You take them to court, they're going to say, oh, well, we tested extensively. So extensive testing becomes a legal defense for every patient. And it's got nothing to do with the actual cost that you usually see cited in terms of malpractice. And by the way, very little use of IT to reduce costs like electronic medical records. We still don't have electronic medical records. Nobody reports to the patient in any of these cases, and almost no one gets paid for good health outcomes. In fact, there's no penalty for killing your patient. How could that be? So, this has got to change. One answer is transparent metrics on doctors, on procedures, on hospitals. Cap legal awards somewhere reasonable. Make doctors directly responsible to patients. Remove HMOs and insurance companies from the mix. They contribute almost nothing. Okay, number 8. Small personal computers, kind of a handheld micro notebook thing, break out as a successful category. They become commonplace. I call them carry-along computers. I believe Apple will introduce one this coming year. I believe iPhone was the kind of the forerunner for all this because it was the first full-on computer with a PC operating system full up, delivered in a small format. I believe that touch system that Apple has worked out for the phone and for the new other devices is a great start for this because it makes full use of the face real estate of the box. And long and short of it is, these things should become quite popular in 2008, and I think by the end of next year we'll be used to seeing them. You'll have one or your friend will have one. Number 9. 2008 should be the year when LEDs become relatively common in lighting. Now everybody's talked about this, but it's always been kind of 5 years from now. Those of you who are Christmas folks will notice that Christmas lights were LEDs this year. I thought that was kind of stunning. And of course they have 10% or less of the wattage consumption. That's good. They last for like 30,000 hours. That's very good because I hate replacing Christmas tree bulbs. And matter of fact, if you ever have had a Christmas tree string with flashers on it and you accidentally put a flasher in the string and you had there were 2 of them, how do you find both flashers? Very difficult mathematical problem. So I think this is the year, and it's exciting because about 25% of the energy use in homes is in lighting. So whether it's in homes, in business, or somewhere else, It's just going to start happening. We're going to start seeing LEDs. They're already in flashlights. Now they're in Christmas lights. They're going to be in home lights. They're going to be in commercial lights. They're still too expensive, but they're coming down fast, and volume is what it's all about. So I believe we've hit it. I think we're there. I think that this will be the year when we went from, what's that, to the year when everyone knows what an LED is. Number 10. This should be the year, the first year, when alternative energy cars go into production and commercial sale in the United States. So that's very exciting. We've been talking about Tesla. We've been talking about a lot of cars as concept cars, as prototypes, right? Now it's time to make them, sell them, drive them, buy them. And I believe that will happen during this year, 2008. And we've got one announcement already. It happened while I was writing this thing. You probably saw it, but Honda is going to deliver very expensive cars, $300,000 cars, FCX Clarity. They are hydrogen to California, and they'll lease them at about $600 a month. I fully expect Teslas to be shipped during this year. They'll start taking orders for their White Star sedan. Altair Nano is already doing the same with other vehicles, and there are a slew of new guys in California, one more every day, I mean, who are designing and making sports cars. They're almost always electric cars. So here we go. Very exciting, good for the planet. So that's it, and I'd be happy to argue, take questions, just listen, anything else you'd like to do. Yes?